We always think about the potential of AI changing the future. But what about the potential of AI changing the past?
That question has cracked open a mystery older than history itself. By decoding Egyptian texts hidden for millennia, artificial intelligence has revealed unsettling details about the construction of the pyramids. The writings hint at hidden systems within their walls, suggesting they were never simple tombs, but something far more complex and far more terrifying than we ever imagined. The invisible library awakens. For 2,000 years, they lay silent, buried beneath volcanic ash, their secrets sealed inside scrolls turned to charcoal. The Villa of the Papyri in Herculaneum, entombed by Mount Vesuvius's eruption in 79 CE, held the only intact library from classical antiquity. Every attempt to read these carbonized papyri destroyed them. Knives turned them to dust. Steam made them crumble. For centuries, scholars could only dream of what wisdom lay locked inside these blackened logs of ancient knowledge. Then, in October 2023, a 21-year-old computer science student named Luke Farritor made history. Using artificial intelligence trained to detect invisible patterns in CT scans, he identified the first word ever read from an unopened Herculaneum scroll, porphyras, meaning purple. That single word, shimmering into view after 2 millennia of darkness, would crack open a revolution in archaeology. It would prove that AI could resurrect the past without ever touching it.
We always think about the potential of AI changing the future. But what about the potential of AI changing the past?
The breakthrough began with a challenge. In March 2023, computer scientist Brent Seals launched the Vesuvius Challenge, a global competition offering over $1.5 million in prizes to anyone who could virtually unwrap and read the Herculaneum scrolls. For 20 years, Seals had pioneered virtual unwrapping technology, inspired by a simple question. If you can use CT scan technology to see non-invasively inside a human body, why can't we see everything inside an artifact like a scroll?
Because of a lack of technology, they had to resort to physically unrolling and thereby destroying most of the scrolls.
The problem seemed insurmountable. The scrolls were carbonized at temperatures reaching 570 degrees, turning them into brittle chunks that resembled firewood more than manuscripts. Worse still, the ancient ink was carbon-based, meaning it was chemically identical to the charred papyrus itself. On X-ray scans, the writing was invisible. The text existed, but human eyes couldn't see it. This is where AI changed everything. The technology works through a mesmerizing dance of computation and intuition. First, particle accelerators 10 billion times brighter than sunlight scan the scrolls at the Diamond Light Source facility in the UK, creating three-dimensional maps of every microscopic layer. These scans produce terabytes of data, far more than any human could analyze in a lifetime. Then, neural networks trained on fragments of known text learn to spot something almost imperceptible: crackle patterns, subtle surface deformations where ancient ink caused microscopic changes in the papyrus texture.
The Vesuvius Challenge team saw that and also implemented a team of 10 people that would use my tool. They would annotate scroll data like you see on this video, where they created a red line where the surface would lay.
Luke Farritor's discovery of purple wasn't just a word, it was proof of concept. By February 2024, Farritor had teamed with Youssef Nada and Julian Schilliger to win the $700,000 grand prize, revealing over 2,000 characters across 15 columns of text. What emerged was philosophy, passages from the Epicurean thinker Philodemus discussing the nature of pleasure and virtue. As too in the case of food, we do not right away believe things that are scarce to be absolutely more pleasant than those which are abundant, the ancient text read, a meditation on finding joy in life's simple abundances. But this was just the beginning. The same principles that unlocked the Herculaneum scrolls are now being deployed across the ancient world, from the Dead Sea caves to the pyramids of Egypt. And what AI is revealing challenges everything we thought we knew. Consider the Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest known biblical manuscripts, discovered between 1946 and 1956 in caves near Qumran. For decades, scholars relied on paleography, the study of handwriting styles, to date these fragments, but the method was subjective, prone to error, and could vary by a century or more between different experts' estimates. In June 2025, everything changed. An AI model called Enoch, developed by researchers at the University of Groningen, combined radiocarbon dating with deep neural network analysis of handwriting. The results were stunning. Many scrolls were 50 to 100 years older than previously thought. The Great Isaiah Scroll, for instance, was pushed back to somewhere somewhere between 230 and 160 BCE, meaning it was copied during the lifetime of its presumed author, not centuries later. With the Enoch tool, we have opened a new door into the ancient world, like a time machine, that allows us to study the hands that wrote the Bible. The implications cascade outward like ripples in time. If biblical texts were written closer to the events they describe, it would transform our understanding of textual transmission, religious development, and the historical reliability of ancient records. Mladen Popovic, lead researcher on the Enoch project, described it as a time machine, allowing scholars to study the hands that wrote the Bible. But AI isn't just reading texts, it's translating entire languages that have baffled experts for over a century.
Another thing that we talked about recently that I sent you was this new AI ability, that AI has the ability to translate some of these ancient languages now, which is really interesting.
I think so far they're getting more out of languages that have already been translated, where there is something for the AI to work on.
Take cuneiform, the world's oldest writing system, created by the Sumerians around 3400 BCE. There are roughly 1 million clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform scattered across museums worldwide, but 90% remain untranslated simply because there aren't enough experts who can read them. Each tablet is a window into ancient Mesopotamian life, recording everything from business transactions to epic poetry, but that window has remained shuttered. In March 2025, researchers at Cornell and Tel Aviv universities unveiled ProtoSnap, an AI system that can translate Akkadian cuneiform with 98% accuracy. The breakthrough came from treating translation as an image recognition problem rather than a linguistic one. The AI learned to recognize character patterns across 4,000 years of stylistic evolution, handling everything from the formal royal inscriptions of Hammurabi's era to everyday receipts scratched by ancient merchants. At the base of our research is the aim to increase the ancient sources available to us by tenfold, explained Yoram Cohen, an archaeologist at Tel Aviv University. Imagine that, multiplying human knowledge of the ancient world by a factor of 10, revealing economic networks, trade relationships, and social structures that have been invisible for millennia. The same revolution is sweeping through ancient Greek and Latin epigraphy. In 2022, Google DeepMind released Ithaca, an AI that can restore damaged Greek inscriptions with 72% accuracy, date them within 30 years, and identify their geographic origin with 71% precision. When historians used Ithaca to re-examine 24 disputed Athenian decrees traditionally dated to 446–445 BCE, the AI conclusively pushed them forward to around 420 BCE, a shift that has considerable implications for our grasp of Athenian imperial behavior, according to Oxford classicist Jonathan Pragg. In July 2025, DeepMind followed up with Aeneas, extending these capabilities to Latin inscriptions. The system doesn't just restore missing text, it retrieves parallels, finding similar inscriptions across the Roman world that provide context and meaning. In one remarkable demonstration, Aeneas identified how a votive altar from Mainz was influenced by local Roman votives, revealing the syncretism of Roman and Germanic religious practices. These aren't abstract academic exercises. Every decoded inscription is a voice from the past: a merchant complaining about taxes, a mother mourning her child, a soldier recording his service, a scribe copying sacred wisdom. AI is making these voices audible again, and what they're telling us is transforming our understanding of ancient civilizations. Nowhere is this more true than in Egypt, where AI is now solving mysteries that have captivated humanity since the age of the pharaohs. The pyramids of Giza, those eternal monuments rising from the desert sand, have guarded their secrets for 4,500 years. How were they built? Why were they aligned with such mathematical precision? What lies hidden in their depths? And perhaps most intriguingly, what if everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt was wrong? The answers, it turns out, are flowing like the Nile itself. The River of Revelation. Stand at the foot of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and you're confronting an impossibility. 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons, stacked with such precision that you can't slide a knife blade between them. The structure rises 138.8 meters into the sky. It was the tallest human-made structure on Earth for 3,800 years. Its base is aligned to true north within 3/60ths of a single degree. The ratio of its perimeter to its height approximates pi. The ratio of its diagonals to its base space approximates phi, the golden ratio. How? How did Bronze Age builders, working around 2560 BCE without wheels, iron tools, or even a proper understanding of advanced mathematics as we know it, achieve this? The question has spawned 1,000 theories, from ramps to levers to, let's be honest, extraterrestrials. But AI, combined with old-fashioned archaeology and cutting-edge remote sensing, is finally providing answers that are somehow both practical and miraculous. The breakthrough came in May 2024 when Professor Eman Ghanem of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington published a study that solved one of the pyramid's greatest puzzles: logistics. How do you transport millions of tons of stone across vast distances in an era before modern machinery? The answer was hiding in plain sight, or rather, hiding beneath it. Using satellite radar and AI-powered analysis, Ghanem's team mapped a lost branch of the Nile River, 64 kilometers long and 200 to 700 meters wide, that once flowed directly past 31 pyramids. They called it the Ahramat branch, Ahramat being Arabic for pyramids. For thousands of years, this waterway had enabled the ancient Egyptians to do something that would have been impossible over land: float massive stone blocks on barges during the annual flood season. The revelation was stunning in its simplicity. The pyramids weren't built in the middle of nowhere. They were built at the water's edge. Sediment cores confirmed ancient harbors and levees. AI simulations showed that water transport reduced the energy required to move blocks by 50% compared to dragging them over land. The Nile, that eternal giver of life, had also been the giver of immortality, enabling pharaohs to build their stairways to heaven. But transportation was only part of the puzzle. How did the stones actually get lifted into place? This is where another AI-driven study, published in July 2024, proposed something even more remarkable. The ancient Egyptians used water itself as their construction tool. Xavier Landreau and his team at France's CEA Paleotechnic Institute focused on the step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, the world's first monumental stone building, constructed around 2670 BCE. Using computational fluid dynamics and machine learning analysis of ground-penetrating radar data, they reconstructed a system of internal shafts and chambers that functioned as a hydraulic lift. The nearby Gisr El Mudir Dam, 5 kilometers away, would channel Nile floodwaters into the pyramid's internal waterworks. As the water filled compartments within the structure, it created enough buoyancy and pressure to float massive blocks upward. The implications are profound. This wasn't brute force, it was elegant engineering that worked with nature rather than against it. The ancient Egyptians understood hydraulics, buoyancy, and pressure systems millennia before these principles would be discovered by European science. AI simulations confirmed the system's feasibility, and 2025 field tests using scaled replicas have validated the concept. Dr. Landreau put it simply: AI CFD showed water pressure lifting blocks 10 meters effortlessly, using only the renewable energy of the river and the engineering genius of human minds. But AI is revealing even more astonishing secrets about pre-dynastic Egypt, the period before the pharaohs united Upper and Lower Egypt around 3100 BCE. In August 2025, independent researchers Adam Young and Karoli Poker conducted high-resolution 3D scans of over 6,000 stone vases from the Petrie Museum in London. These vases, carved from hard granite around 3200 BCE, should have been crude, hand-worked objects. Instead, the AI analysis revealed something impossible. The vases showed lathe-like symmetry with tolerances of 0.001 millimeters, precision that exceeds what most modern craftsmen could achieve by hand. Heat maps generated by machine learning showed uniform tool paths on the vessel's interiors, suggesting rotary technology that predates the potter's wheel itself. 85 vases demonstrated symmetry of over 99%. This isn't just skilled craftsmanship. It implies a level of technological sophistication that historians have never attributed to pre-dynastic Egypt. Were there advanced machining techniques that have been lost to time? The AI data suggests yes, though the archaeological community remains divided. Meanwhile, beneath the sands themselves, AI is mapping what cannot be seen. In March 2025, an Italian-Scottish research team led by Corrado Malanga and Filippo Biondi released synthetic aperture radar data processed through AI algorithms, claiming to reveal a vast underground network beneath the Khafra pyramid. The AI reconstructed 3D models suggested a 2-kilometer deep system of shafts, chambers, and cylindrical structures, what the researchers called potential evidence of the legendary Halls of Amenti described in ancient Egyptian texts. The claims were explosive. The data suggested geometric chambers aligning with Orion's belt, spiral staircases descending thousands of feet, and resonant cavities that might have served purposes we don't yet understand. Christopher Dunn, Sun, author of The Giza Power Plant, analyzed the data and suggested the structures could be resonators for energy harvesting. Monoatomic gold traces in granite amplify Schumann waves, but controversy erupted immediately. Renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass dismissed the claims as fake news, noting the absence of peer review and the physical impossibility of such deep structures given bedrock limitations. Ground-penetrating radar expert Lawrence Conyers suggested the data might show smaller pre-pyramid features, but certainly not a city. Even fact-checking site Snopes rated the claims as unverified, noting that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The debate highlights both the promise and the peril of AI in archaeology. The technology can process radar data and identify anomalies with superhuman precision, but interpreting what those anomalies mean requires context, verification, and good old-fashioned digging. AI can suggest where to look, but humans must do the looking.
Repeating this process over and over, the models kept improving. The main trick was you needed to prevent the models from memorizing what the previous models have learned. You're essentially asking the model to learn what the other model has learned.
Fortunately, more conservative applications of the technology are yielding verified discoveries. In May 2024, a ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography survey by Tohoku University detected an L-shaped anomaly in the Western Cemetery near the Great Pyramid. The structure measured approximately 10 by 15 meters and extended between 6.5 and 33 feet deep, a possible entrance to an unmarked tomb. Lead researcher Motoyuki Sato noted that the L shape defies natural geology and that the continuity of the structure suggests a chamber rather than random voids. A follow-up survey in July 2025 confirmed deeper void continuity, indicating that something significant lies beneath the sand, waiting to be excavated. Even more thrilling are the discoveries inside the pyramids themselves. The Scan Pyramids project, a collaboration between Japanese, Egyptian, and French researchers funded with $5 million from the European Union, has been using muon radiography combined with AI image analysis to peer inside Khufu's Great Pyramid without drilling or excavation. In March 2025, the project published results confirming a 9-meter-long corridor on the pyramid's north face, 17 to 23 meters above ground level. The corridor, measuring 0.7 to 2 meters deep, appears to connect to the previously discovered Big Void, a 30-meter cavity above the Grand Gallery. AI segmentation analysis of the fused muon, GPR, and thermal imaging data revealed niches in the corridor walls, architectural features that suggest this isn't just a structural void, but a deliberately designed space. What was it for? Weight relief? Ritual access? A hidden chamber entrance? The corridor remains sealed, and excavation requires extreme caution to preserve the pyramid's integrity. But the AI analysis suggests there's more to find, potentially chambers that have been sealed since the time of Khufu himself 4,500 years ago. And then there's the Sphinx, that enigmatic guardian whose mysteries may run even deeper than the pyramids themselves. The Guardian's gaze. The Great Sphinx of Giza has stared eastward for millennia, its lion body and human head embodying the pharaoh's divine power. At 73 meters long and 20 meters tall, carved directly from the living bedrock around 2500 BCE during the reign of Khafra, it should be straightforward to understand. But the Sphinx keeps secrets that may predate the pyramids themselves, secrets that AI is now beginning to expose.
This again is where you come to a series of mysteries which are perhaps best expressed on the Giza Plateau in Egypt with the 3 Great Pyramids and the extraordinary megalithic temples that many people don't pay much attention to on the Giza Plateau and the Great Sphinx itself. This is an area of particular importance in understanding this issue.
The first mystery is the most fundamental. How old is it really? The body of the Sphinx shows vertical fissures and undulating erosion patterns that geologist Robert Schoch has argued are characteristic of heavy rainfall erosion, not the wind and sand weathering you'd expect in the arid climate of Egypt over the past 4,500 years. The last time the Sahara experienced enough rainfall to create such erosion was during the African humid period, which ended around 5000 BCE. If Schoch is correct, the Sphinx could be 7,000 to 9,000 years old, built by a civilization that predates dynastic Egypt entirely.
First of all, the astronomy. And here I must pay tribute to 2 individuals, actually 3 individuals in particular. One of them is John Anthony West, passed away in 2018. He was the first person in our era to begin to wonder if the Sphinx was much older than it had been. Actually, he got that idea from a philosopher called Schwaller de Lubicz, who'd noticed what he thought was water erosion on the body of the Sphinx.
In 2025, AI-powered erosion modeling added weight to this controversial theory. Researchers, including geologist Randall Carlson, used machine learning algorithms to analyze the weeping fissure patterns on the Sphinx's body, correlating them with the flood patterns of the Younger Dryas period between 12,000 and 9,600 BCE. The AI consistently identified signatures of water erosion that differ markedly from the wind erosion visible on nearby structures built during the dynastic period. Even more compelling, fossil analysis by researchers Sherif El Morsi and Antoine Gigal confirmed marine deposits at the Giza Plateau consistent with submersion around 9,000 BCE, suggesting the area was underwater during the wetter climate period, which would explain the water erosion patterns. But there's a counter-theory. A 2025 study from New York University proposed that the Sphinx's core might have started as a natural wind-eroded formation called a yardan, which ancient Egyptians then sculpted into its current form. This would explain some of the erosion patterns while maintaining the conventional dating. The debate continues, with AI providing data for both sides.
And then, of course, this is the period of the wet Sahara, the humid Sahara. The Sahara was a completely different place during the Ice Age. There were rivers in it, there were lakes in it, it was fertile, it was possibly densely populated, and there was a lot of rain. There's not no rain in Giza today, but there's relatively little rain.
Then there's the question of what the Sphinx originally looked like and whether it's been recarved. The head is conspicuously small relative to the body, only about 5 meters tall compared to the 20-meter height of the body. This disproportionate scaling has led many researchers to suggest the head was recarved from an earlier form. In 2025, AI-powered 3D reconstruction using data from 1990s seismic surveys suggested the original head may have had jackal ears and a base consistent with Anubis, the jackal-headed god who guarded the necropolis. The reconstruction was published in the journal Archaeometry, with researchers noting that ears and paws align with Anubis, predating Khafre by centuries. If true, it would mean the Sphinx was originally a full animal guardian, perhaps a jackal or a lion, before being modified to bear a pharaoh's human face. This theory aligns with another AI revelation. Celestial modeling published in 2025 confirmed that the Sphinx perfectly aligned with the constellation Leo when Leo rose due east on the spring equinox, but only around 10,500 BCE, not 2,500 BCE. This date coincides with both Schoch's water erosion dating and the astronomical theories of researchers like Graham Hancock, who have long argued for a pre-dynastic origin. But perhaps the most tantalizing mysteries lie beneath the Sphinx itself. Seismic surveys conducted in the 1990s detected anomalous cavities under the Sphinx's paws, spaces that shouldn't exist if the monument was simply carved from solid bedrock. The famous Dream Stela of Pharaoh Thutmose IV, erected between the paws around 1400 BCE, mentions sand clearing and hints at underground access. An emergency tunnel excavated behind the Sphinx's head descends 9 meters, suggesting the ancient Egyptians themselves knew about subterranean features. In April 2024, a joint Getty Museum and French research team conducted ultra-precise 3D ground-penetrating radar scans of the Sphinx's western flank, detecting interconnected voids approximately 10 meters deep. The journal Conservation Science published the findings, noting possible corridors in a ritual network, suggesting the Sphinx may sit atop a complex of underground chambers. This fueled speculation about the legendary Hall of Records, a chamber supposedly containing knowledge from an advanced ancient civilization predicted by psychic Edgar Cayce in the 1930s. While mainstream archaeology dismisses Cayce's claims as pseudoscience, the presence of real cavities detected by modern technology suggests there is something beneath the Sphinx, even if it's not what the mystics predicted. In July 2025, a team led by researcher Armando May claimed their scanning revealed a shaft descending 2,000 to 4,000 feet beneath the Sphinx, with spiral stairs reminiscent of the 14 residences of Amenti described in the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. However, Zahi Hawass dismissed these claims as exaggerations, noting that bedrock limitations calculations make such depths implausible. The AI analysis remains unverified pending actual excavation. But AI isn't just revealing physical structures, it's decoding the very language of ancient Egypt itself, unlocking texts that have remained silent for millennia. In 2020, Google Arts and Culture, in partnership with Ubisoft and Macquarie University, launched Fabricius, the first machine learning tool capable of translating hieroglyphs from user-uploaded photos into English and Arabic. The system, trained on over 500,000 digitized hieroglyphic signs, achieves 85% accuracy on common phrases and has democratized access to ancient Egyptian texts in an unprecedented way. But Fabricius was just the beginning. In September 2024, an Egyptian startup called Dark Pyramid released Manetho, the world's first mobile app for instant hieroglyph translation. Named after the ancient Egyptian historian, Manetho uses convolutional neural networks trained on over 1 million images to scan inscriptions and output translations in 2 seconds with 90% accuracy. The app has revealed forgotten gods, decoded curses, and even translated worker logs that describe construction techniques. On Ramses II statues, it revealed eternal kingship oaths invoking Horus. At Tutankhamun's tomb, it decoded serpent guardian curses, not supernatural threats, but warnings about tomb disturbances that the 1922 expedition members may have interpreted as omens. What's remarkable is that these AI translation tools aren't replacing human experts, they're amplifying them. When scholars used Fabricius to analyze Book of the Dead fragments, it uncovered hidden prayers that interpreted afterlife portals as stellar rebirth metaphors tied to Orion's belt, a connection between architecture and cosmology that enriches our understanding of pyramid design. Since its launch, Fabricius has translated over 15,000 lines of text, revealing details about daily life, economic systems, and religious practices, beer rations for pyramid workers, flood prophecies tied to Nile cycles, administrative records showing sophisticated resource management. Each decoded inscription is another window into a civilization that built monuments to eternity. The convergence of all these discoveries, the lost Nile branch, the hydraulic engineering, the pre-dynastic precision, the hidden chambers, the water erosion, the translated texts, paints a picture of ancient Egypt that is far more sophisticated, more interconnected, and more mysterious than we ever imagined. These weren't primitive people dragging stones through the desert under the lash of slave masters. Archaeological evidence from the workers' village at Giza shows that pyramid builders were skilled laborers organized in teams with names like Friends of Khufu and Drunkards of Menkaure. They had working shifts, lunch breaks, and medical care. Working on the pharaoh's eternal monument was considered a great honor, a way to participate in the divine project of maintaining cosmic order, Ma'at. But the revelations go even deeper. In March 2025, excavations at Tombos in Sudan revealed non-elite burials inside pyramids dating from 1400 to 650 BCE. AI facial reconstructions from CT scans showed diverse ethnicities, suggesting pyramids weren't just for royalty, they democratized eternity, offering afterlife access across social classes. Bioarchaeologist Sarah Schrader noted this challenges elite exclusivity and implies pyramids served as communal monuments binding society together. The pyramid wasn't just the pharaoh's eternal home, it was a statement about Egyptian civilization itself, about their understanding of life, death, and the cosmos, and that understanding may have been far more advanced than we've credited them with. Consider what AI has revealed. Pre-dynastic Egyptians achieved precision machining tolerances of 0.001 millimeters. They aligned structures to celestial bodies with accuracy that wouldn't be matched for thousands of years. They encoded mathematical constants like pi and phi in their architecture. They built hydraulic systems that harnessed the Nile's power for construction. They created monuments that have endured for 4,500 years, while most modern buildings crumble after a century. This isn't primitive. This is sophisticated engineering combined with deep astronomical knowledge, organizational genius, and a spiritual vision that gave meaning to monumental effort. Yet for all we've learned, the pyramids and the Sphinx still guard their deepest secrets. The 30-meter big void above the Grand Gallery remains unexplored. The cavities beneath the Sphinx's paws remain unexcavated. The full extent of the underground anomalies detected by AI-processed radar awaits confirmation by physical archaeology. As Egyptologist Rami Girgis noted, the pyramid was intended not as simple as a tomb, but a building that endures for ages, and it has secrets still to share. The revolution AI has brought to archaeology goes far beyond any single discovery. It's changing the fundamental methodology of how we study the past. Where traditional archaeology relied on painstaking manual analysis that could take years or decades, AI processes terabytes of data in hours. Where human experts could analyze dozens of texts, AI can can cross-reference millions. Where physical excavation risked destroying fragile artifacts, AI enables virtual exploration. But perhaps most importantly, AI is democratizing knowledge. Apps like Manetho put the ability to read hieroglyphs in anyone's pocket. The Vesuvius Challenge has turned scroll decipherment into a global collaborative effort with over 1,000 teams contributing. Google's Fabricius has gamified learning ancient Egyptian, engaging over 1 million users worldwide. The story of the past is no longer confined to ivory towers and elite institutions. It's becoming accessible to anyone with curiosity and an internet connection, and that may be the most revolutionary aspect of all. By 2030, experts predict AI will have decoded 90% of known hieroglyphs and mapped all major pyramid interiors. The $13.5 million European Research Council grant awarded in 2025 aims to decipher 4.5 million words from Herculaneum scrolls within 6 years. New AI systems are being developed to extend these capabilities to Mayan glyphs, Linear A, Rongo, and other undeciphered scripts. We stand at a threshold. For the first time in human history, we have the tools to systematically unlock the accumulated knowledge of all ancient civilizations. Every library that survived, every inscription that endured, every text that was preserved by accident or intention through millennia of human history. The Guardian watches, the algorithms compute, the past whispers its secrets to the present, and slowly, painstakingly, miraculously, we are beginning to hear. Liked this video? Don't forget to explore more similar content through the suggested cards on your screen.